Thank you for taking the time to watch this short video about the Global Catholic Education Reports 2022 and 2023. My name is Quentin Wadon. I work at the World Bank, but this is part of my volunteer work. This means that any opinions are mine only and present the views of the World Bank. In terms of background, the Global Catholic Education Reports are produced by the Global Catholic Education Project, led project, with collaborations, especially with OIEC, IFQ, OMAIC, and UMEC WUCT, which are the four global NGOs that federate Catholic education for the world. The website of the Global Catholic Education Project has reports that review activities each year, and those activities are in four focus areas: building knowledge, serving the community, promoting dialogue and sharing a range of ideas. The aim is to broadly share knowledge about education and integral human development that can be useful to Catholic educators and other educators who may not be Catholic. One of the key products of the project is a series of annual Global Catholic Education reports, and this is the focus of this video. Four reports have been produced so far. They aim to bring good practices from international experience to Catholic schools, universities, and other organizations. But they also aim to bring to the attention of the international community examples of innovative work in Catholic education. Reports are structured in two parts. The first part is about basic data, basic statistics, looking at trends in enrollment in Catholic schools and universities. Now, if you look at a long period, the last 40 or 50 years, there has been tremendous growth in enrollment in Catholic schools and universities globally. Over the last few years, this has been less the case. Globally, about 62 million children, it changes a bit from year to year, are enrolled in Catholic preschools, primary schools, and secondary schools, and just under 7 million are enrolled in Catholic higher education. What's important for the Church and for the preferential option for the poor is that, at least at the preschool, primary, and secondary levels, there is a strong presence of Catholic schools in low and lower middle income countries. The five countries that have the most children enrolled in Catholic schools are India, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya, Malawi, and Uganda. And if you look at the share of all primary school students in Catholic schools globally who live in a low income or a lower middle income country, that share is at about 70% or so. The report also includes data at the country level, and separately on the website, you can also download a publication with country profiles. These are on the slides two examples of country profiles, the one on the left for the Democratic Republic of Congo and the one on the right for the United States of America, with very different trends in the two countries. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, there has been large growth in enrollment, and this can be seen with the graphs at the bottom that show the absolute trend in enrollment in preschools, primary schools, and secondary schools, as well as the share of total enrollment in Catholic schools that is for children who live in the country. On the right, you have graphs that show that in the United States, by contrast, enrollment has declined in absolute terms and also in terms of the share of the country in total enrollment at the global level in Catholic schools. Perhaps what is more important is the fact that the Global Catholic Education reports consider a different theme every year. That's the second part of the report. Now, 2022 report was dedicated to the issue of ending violence in schools. This is an important issue for all schools, including Catholic schools, especially within the context of the sexual abuse crisis that is affecting the church globally. Now, the report is based in part on a recent study at the World Bank that was co-sponsored by the Global Partnership to End Violence Against Children. The report shows that there is a high prevalence of violence in many schools, and that includes Catholic schools. So in some countries, it can be shown that Catholic and other faith-based schools have lower levels of violence in schools, but in other countries, this is not the case, and there are virtually no differences. So one cannot make any generalization as to whether one type of school has a lower level of violence than another type of school. The report considers the prevalence of violence in schools as well as the potential impacts of that violence on whether the children go to school, whether they learn in school, and a wide range of measures of well-being. It also discusses promising interventions to end violence in schools at different levels, for example, at the time of early or in primary education or secondary education. And it discusses what is referred to as whole school approaches and the need to engage all stakeholders to reduce violence. That means engaging teachers for sure, but also engaging the students, engaging their parents and the community. So the hope is that the discussion of those promising interventions and whole school approaches can be useful to you if you are looking at ways to reduce violence in your own schools. For the 2023 report, the theme is transforming education and making education transformative. There is a review of the impacts of different crises, the pandemic, but also the rise in forced displacement, the impact of the war in Ukraine on poverty, for example, and how those overlapping crises have led to an increase in what is referred to as learning poverty. That is, the fact that many children, age 10, are not able to read and understand a simple text. Learning poverty has increased dramatically according to estimations from international organizations. The report provides a summary of some of the guidance on best practices from those organizations, UNESCO, the World Bank, UNICEF, others, on what can be done to improve learning in schools and to reduce the number of out of school. Then the report talks about the importance of making education transformative with the vision of Pope Francis' Global Compact on Education. And that section is based on lessons and examples from interviews with more than 130 educators all over the world. Finally, the report discusses the importance of engaging alumni and promoting service learning, which is a way to introduce a dimension of service and social justice in the learning experience of the students. And again, this part of the report is adapted in part from a previous publication in the Journal of Global Catholicism and a presentation for the 150th anniversary of the Sisters Congress. Two reports were published on global Catholic education at the same time, in part because OIEC, which is the International Office of Catholic Education, is having its World Congress every 3-4 years, and this time it's in December in France. The aim was to make both reports available before the Congress. Now I want to mention briefly a separate report on integral human development that discusses the contributions of Catholic and other faith-based organizations, not only to education, but also to health and social protection. This includes trends in service delivery, as well as a tentative assessment of market shares reached to the poor, quality, why different families try to rely on different of service providers. Opportunities and challenges related to the pandemic are also discussed. So that is also available on the website. Now, I would like to conclude by saying that there are opportunities for you to engage in the project if you would like. A strong emphasis is placed on knowledge. So if you do some research or have interesting experiences to share, we have knowledge notes, we have other publications, we do special issues of journals or symposia. We also created a new book series with Springer, and another book series is under preparation. And as I had mentioned, we do interviews. So we are happy to share interesting experiences through interviews as well. What could be the next step is to provide more opportunities for capacity building, again, making sure that Catholic schools and universities do benefit from international experience, and vice versa, that the international community benefits from the experience of Catholic schools and universities. My last slide includes this quote from Pope Francis that I will let you read. And I just want to conclude also by saying that you can contact us by email at Global Catholic Education or via the website, globalcatholiceducation.org. Thank you again so much for having taken the time to listen to this video.